From the flax fields of Europe to snow-covered mountain peaks, our natural fibre technologies have made it around the toughest racetracks of this world and to the roads we travel every day. They sail across deep oceans and are now taking flight. We help decarbonise the mobility of tomorrow.
Hello everyone. So you just saw an intro movie about Bcomp. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Bcomp, and what we do is really taking flax, you all know from the linen textile industry, so it's the same fiber, and we turn it into reinforcement materials to make high-performance bio-based solutions. You can use them in race car body panels, in supercar body panels, but more importantly, to really have impact, you can also use them in interiors, such as seat backs or side panels indoors. Make things much more lighter, so we achieve all the way to 60% weight reductions, and also we decarbonize. So when we replace these carbon parts or these plastic parts, we take out all the way to 90% of CO2 footprint in terms of embodied energy. Now we've founded in 2011 in Fribourg. We are now 75 people, and we are just closing Series C. And one of our investors of Series B is Marcus.
Hello, everyone.
Tell you more about iVentures.
Yes, yeah, thank you. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having us here. What a great story. So as Christian mentioned, we invested approximately 2 years ago as lead investor in your Series B because we were so fascinated by the material and by the opportunities that arise from what you just saw in the video. And BMW iVentures, as you can see, is a corporate venture fund of BMW, but we operate very independently. So we search out for opportunities out there that might, change or disrupt the future of mobility. And with Bcomp, we found a company that actually touches the core of our company. Maybe real quick to BMW iVentures. We're a venture fund. In our second fund, we have approximately 800 million under management. Our fund size usually is 300 million US dollars. And the investment period is usually 4 years, and then we harvest for the next 6 years. So we're set up like a real financial VC. And the idea with the investment in Bcomp was that we, as I said, accelerate our decarbonization of our supply chain. And the maybe remarkable thing is, and we do this quite often, we invested together with Porsche, Volvo, and Airbus as industry partners. And that leads me to the question that I have for you. How important are strategic investors for you?
They are super important, especially in the phase around Series B. Number one, you get the stamp in terms of validation, right? So there's no greater validation in terms of, yes, this space, this vertical needs your technology than actually having strategic investors telling you that's the case. The first part of their due diligence will always consist of asking their R&D departments how relevant is that technology for the future of BMW in this case. Number two, in terms of credibility, of course, it's clear that if you get out of a Series B with such a spectacular set of strategic investors, it really has a big impact on all your stakeholders, be it your customers, be it also your suppliers, last but not least also your potential employees who really are pulled to us and now believe really that we are a credible future automotive supplier. And number three, last but not least, of course, the doors that are opened by the strategics. It's of course not a shortcut. It's not like we're still exposed to the same processes in terms of qualification, but people like Marcus, of course, point us at the right people and telling us which ones we need to convince in order to be able to be integrated in a supply network.
And I think you're speaking an important point there. So I think for the understanding, for somebody that's not so close to how this works, we are still very independent, and we're on a voluntary basis with our business units. So you still have to qualify, like everybody else, through the procurement process, the quality process. Your materials have to go through the same rigid tests that anybody else that is supplying, and you're still in competition with other suppliers for this. Our commitment is that we want to create future suppliers that help the automotive industry to, in your case, decarbonize and use new materials. So that's why we also like to partner with other OEMs. Our intention is not to purchase a company that we invest in someday. That's very different. We are actually building suppliers and a different supply base, and we hope that we can engage our industry with new technologies and new future measures. But what I find very interesting is where you come from and how you came to the automotive industry. So you have this phrase, race to road. What does that tell?
That's right. And I think it was beautifully displayed also in the movie. So we have this, what we call race to road strategy. We always start with a premium. You saw that we have the potential to, or we do replace carbon fiber composite parts already now in the motorsport sector. And I think BMW is a perfect example for us of this, incorporating this race to road strategy in the sense of we started with your colleagues from actually Formula E, so really the race guys at BMW. It went then to BMW Motorsports with DTM and then the GT race cars, and is now going to M, so really the performance brand of BMW, who are the ones who bring race technologies also then on the road and to large serial vehicles. And then last but not least, then from M, we are spilling over eventually then to AG, so really the mainstream BMW cars. So that's for us a strategy that has worked out very well, and BMW an excellent partner to go really to follow that and roll that plan out.
And also to maybe our investment strategies is we're looking for the next moonshot in that field. So what we believe is that your technology is first and foremost, of course, very helpful in these niche products, but it also expands to the mass products. And we can see this already, I think, with Volvo, who has already has a series car with your material out there. So if it's like developed and tested in the motorsports, and I think you're equipping all GT4 motorsports cars, and you're expanding to other race series, will in the end up in our series cars one day. And what I find so fascinating is it's not just going to be for the super lightweight, super sturdy. It's going to hopefully replace plastics next, right? So injection molding plastics that are usually don't have the surfaces, so they will be covered with something leather-like, like we just saw, or even real leather or other materials. The problem is always when you do this, you have a real problem in recycling. And what we find so interesting about your material, it's a monomaterial, where you can then, once it comes to the end of the lifetime of the product, actually help with better recycling, and you don't have the separation of the two products.
That's right. And so the substrate all the way to the visual surface is one and the single material. We can play with the visual, so we can actually customize the visual surface, which of course is very attractive for designers and designing the next wave, the next generation of sustainable design, sustainable luxury design. And as Marcus just said, we don't have to separate materials at the end of life. We just can actually take the parts back. That's our vision for the future, and then shred them and then inject them into new verticals and sell it as a new material in a second cycle. Maybe just last but not least, I mentioned Series C. We are closing tomorrow. There is a tail. So there's a tail that's still open and there's some space. Our CFO is here today. If you're interested to jump in and take that tremendous opportunity to invest in a very interesting stage of our company with trusted customers and partners, it's a good time.
You've closed more than 3/3 of the round, but there's still a little opening. So,
that's right.
Yeah, and we proudly continue to invest, and together with our OEM partners, as I can say here. It's very good. So, thank you. I think our time is up. And I hope it was entertaining.